Now, Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd are on their way to Asia to shore up support among allies in the face of a growing threat from China. This coming a day after the U.S. intercepted Russian and Chinese bombers near Alaska. For more insight, I'm now joined by Ambassador John Bolton, who served as U.S. National Security Advisor during the Trump administration and was the U.S. Ambassador to the UN under George W. Bush. Thank you so much for joining us again, sir.
Glad to be with you.
Let's start with Russia and China. There's clearly a growing military cooperation between these two countries, Ambassador. What is the biggest concern when it comes to this partnership for you?
Well, the fact is this growing axis is a global partnership. We see the cooperation between China and Russia in Russia's war in Ukraine. We see both of them cooperating with Iran and Syria in the Middle East, working against our interest and the interest of key allies like Israel. And we'll see Russia cooperate with China in its threats against Taiwan, the South China Sea, and along its land border. And I think from a strategic point of view, from America's own basic self-interest, this should tell us that the days of dividing the world up into regions where a conflict in one place didn't necessarily mean much for a conflict in another place are over. And that's a very significant part of the worldview of Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance. He doesn't care about Ukraine. He downplays the Middle East. He worries primarily about China in Asia. And we should worry about China in Asia, but you can't miss the connections that threaten our vital interest all over the world. So this joint military maneuver by China and Russia is as clear a signal as you can get. This axis continues to strengthen.
And going a little further, along with this NORAD interception, 4 Chinese warships were spotted off the coast of Alaska earlier this month. There's even new satellite images showing China expanding its spy bases in Cuba. Does it appear that bad actors are encroaching on the U.S.? And more importantly, Ambassador, does America need to act?
Well, I think this is China in particular showing its muscle. As hard as it may be for Americans to understand, China wants to become an Arctic power. Now, we've already got Russia to worry about in the Arctic, but this shows as trade routes through the Arctic become more possible because of global warming, the threat to the United States and its allies will continue to grow. Should we act? Absolutely. What should we be doing? Beyond anything else, we need substantial increases in the defense budget. We had some increases under the Trump administration, not nearly enough. We need to cut the deficit at the same time, so domestic expenditures are going to have to come down. That's hard arithmetic for politicians, but if you care about American security, that's the reality. And I think our target in the pretty near future is to have to get defense budgets back up to Reagan-era levels, 5 to 6% of GDP, up from a little bit over 3%. Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi, who will be the incoming Republican chairman of the Armed Services Committee in the Senate, if they get a majority, has written a very important point on defense expenditures. That's a place to start. We need a lot of work.
Ambassador, I have less than a minute, but I do want to ask you about former President Trump's meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. How do you think that'll differ from his talks with President Biden?
Well, I think the talks with Biden were very much centered on the ceasefire negotiations, which have been promised for months now by the Biden administration. I don't necessarily think that deal is as close as they try and pretend it is. We'll see. Perhaps it is. I think it'll be different from Netanyahu's conversations with Vice President Harris, which were pretty chilly, I think, as you can see. It's a different direction for the Democratic Party if she wins the White House. But with Trump, I don't think it's necessarily going to be sweetness and light. He's been saying the Israelis are very poor on public relations. They've got to get the war over, get the hostages back, not because Trump cares about the war or the hostages, but defending Israel, which he might be inclined to do, is becoming unpopular, and that bothers him. And I think he'll tell Bibi that today.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.